We saw the development of bookkeeping in northern Italy in the 14th and 15th centuries. There was an eventual transformation into what we know to be accounting by the 19th century. The main driver of this development came around by the changes in the environment and needs of society, such as the development of large organisations, which not only needed more sophisticated internal management but also required capital that needed to be raised from groups of investors. Investors required information regarding how their money was being invested, resulting in a need for internal managerial accounting and external financial reporting. The history of bookkeeping and accounting sheds light on economic history and gives us insights into what the future of the accounting profession might hold for us. This brings us to the focus for this assignment. How will accountants be needed in the future, by whom and for what purposes? Today, Molly will be discussing the effects of technology on the future of the accounting profession. Jess will be discussing business advisory services. I will be discussing globalization of standards and increased regulations, and Victoria will be doing an overall analysis. One of the biggest impacts on the accounting profession going forward will come from increased regulation. Accounting regulation arises through accounting principles, standards, and procedures, and as these change, the accounting profession can expect to change alongside. Here is just one example of where we are starting to see changes in terms of regulations. We are noticing greater pressures from the public as well as increased stakeholder expectations with regards to social and environmental reporting and regulation. There are a number of stakeholders, including shareholders, employees, governments and regulators, non-government organisations, and the general community that are concerned about social and environmental issues. Because of this, new forms of regulation such as integrated reporting are beginning to emerge, and I believe that accounting professionals are going to be expected to look beyond the numbers and report on different social and environmental issues, which will likely become the norm for accounting professionals in the very near future. One of the questions that was given to our group last week was, why do we need regulations? With the objective of reporting being to provide users with useful information, regulations help us in achieving this. Regulatory bodies also exist as a matter of fraud prevention for the benefit of all investors in companies, both public and private. The point of regulation is to uphold the integrity of the accounting profession. Now, what about globalization? Did you know that close to 120 countries utilize International Financial Reporting Standards, or IFRS? By utilizing IFRS, a business is able to present its financial statements in the same way as its international competitors, making financial information comparable. The ultimate goal for the future is to move towards global standards. According to an article I read from the University of Alabama at Birmingham, they believe that as we continue to increase globalization, accountants that are able to balance their performance-oriented knowledge and skills of management accounting with compliance-oriented abilities of financial accounting are those accountants who will benefit the most. They also stated that accountants who are able to master the changing standards by expanding their skill sets will have the best chances of success as an accountant in the future. I have provided you with only a taste as to how globalization and increased regulations might look to shape the future accounting profession. In my opinion, globalization and increased regulations will lead us to a more positive future as an accounting professional by helping us to provide users with more useful information. Now I'm going to pass you over to Jess to talk about business advisory services.
The ability to take on duties, add value, and advise beyond the description of an accountant will help enable the accounting profession to advance in the future. The expectation of the client is to have an accountant that is a trusted advisor who understands financial reporting and business strategy. Accounting professionals are aware of the entity's financial position through the compiling of company information and are the obvious people for analysis and interpretation. With the attention to detail that the accounting professional requires, accounting professionals have the correct discipline to deal with quantitative matters other than accounting itself. With the automation that is occurring in the industry, the role of outsourced accountant and bookkeeper has become virtual. Although this is great for business productivity, clients still expect excellent customer service and advisory. Specialisation in specific industries provides the client entity with expert knowledge and advice. Specialisation allows an accounting firm to focus entirely on a particular industry and potentially be the best at what they do and in high demand. There are areas of the accounting industry that have evolved and are becoming increasingly important for organisations to gain expert knowledge and advice. These are a few of the areas of specialisation that are growing in the accounting industry. Sustainability accounting. This involves linking sustainability initiatives to company strategy, evaluating risks and opportunities, and providing measurement and performance management to ensure that the day-to-day operations are sustainable. Forensic accounting. Due to the heightened awareness and intolerance of fraudulent activity, the demand for forensic accounting is rapidly growing. Forensic accountants specialise in accounting and investigation. They can be employed within public accounting firms, consultancy firms specialising in risk or forensic accounting services, by lawyers, law enforcement, government agencies, insurance companies, and financial institutions. Bankruptcy and liquidation. Specialist accountants have an incredibly important role in the bankruptcy and insolvency proceeding. Accountants prepare the financial statements of an insolvent estate on a breakup basis as opposed to the normal going concern basis. They also use their business evaluation skills to ascertain the fair value of the debtor's assets and can act as receivers or liquidators to manage the client's affairs and to protect assets from misappropriation and embezzlement. The bankruptcy process can involve lengthy legal proceedings requiring a professional to act as witness. Accountants are one of the most suitable finance professionals to act in this capacity. Accountants also provide forensic accounting information that can be used in the court bankruptcy proceedings. Tax. Increasing regulatory requirements and changing tax legislation requires entities to be up to date and in compliance with relevant law. The growing amount of cross-border transactions present complex taxation issues and involve huge money. Ensuring tax is paid and in the right jurisdiction provides tax specialists with ongoing challenges and career opportunity. Through expert knowledge and skill, specialised advisory services in the growing and changing areas of accounting will provide accountants with varied and exciting work opportunities in the future. The question I was asked was, will advisory be important in the future? Advisory is an area of accounting which is currently beneficial for both client, accountant and accounting firm. Advisory will certainly become more important in the future. Advisory will give accountants further opportunities to specialise, providing expert advice through the interpretation of the client's business, industry and its unique circumstances. Businesses looking towards the future will find value in advisory services that will promote business growth, support transitions into new markets and global prospects. Individuals demanding financial advice in regards to property, finances and other assets will look to accountants with sound business skills and insights. Next is Molly talking to us about the technological advances for the future of accounting.
The usage of technology in accounting has increased over the years in relation to the development of computer technologies. It seems that the days of punching numbers into a calculator and writing down numbers are nearly over. The innovation of technology has led the way of how accounting is done nowadays. Digital resources and online tools have improved productivity and general organisation of accounting work. The increased use of electronic accounting has enabled reduced errors, which has resulted in better and accurate reporting overall. So what does this mean for the future then? It is a given that keeping paper records are expensive and time-consuming. Therefore, physical copies are being converted to digital copies. There has been an area of discussion towards some specialised jobs being taken over by robots and artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is a branch of computer science. It involves developing computer programs to complete tasks that a human would normally complete. whereas a robot can be programmed to carry out a series of actions automatically or on command. Is it likely that the use of artificial intelligence and robotics will take over accounting? The focus of the duties of accountants, I agree, is shifting greatly towards the use of artificial intelligence and robots, as the use of technology makes the process a lot faster, more cost-effective, and reduces the margin of error. However, they do not replicate the full measure of human intelligence. Due to one of the skills that make up a great accountant is the communication and ability to process any situation from their client. Building a trustworthy and solid relationship with clients is very important. This is something a computer cannot portray on the personal level that an accountant can. I agree that the implementation of the technology helping with the accounting process has a positive effect rather than a negative over-controlling effect. It saves time on things that would usually have to be done manually, such as repetitive tasks of bookkeeping and running payrolls. This would enable accountants to diversify their roles and learn new skills, which will add efficiency towards their work. In addition, cloud-based platforms would actually be an advantage to accountants, as it would give them the ability to work flexibly and have the financial information on demand when needed. The relationship between accountants and clients are too strong for technology to find a way to recreate this in the near future. Therefore, I do believe that the positive outcomes by the increase in technology being used outweigh the negatives. The question was asked by another group, the cons of technology. I think that as technology is changing so rapidly, systems that are set in place will become outdated very quickly. The functions of an old system are limited compared to those of the new and improved systems. However, this causes greater issues as transferring data may not occur accurately. Employees need to be trained well enough to be able to use accounting software accurately and efficiently. This takes both time and costs money. Another disadvantage being if tax rates and rules change. This needs to be checked to make sure it has been changed, and if not, then manually change it. By doing this, it will avoid any errors. The main issue I think that is most likely going to have the greatest impact on technology changes is the idea of power failures, computer viruses, and hackers. Correct precautions and security measures need to be put into place to ensure that the firm is not vulnerable to these. Now I'll pass on to Victoria to sum up our presentation.
Before stating our conclusion, I will summarize once again what we have been discussing previously. The role of accountants is to give business owners, stakeholders, investors, and whomever needs the financial information the peace of mind that they are not making an accounting error that could cause harm for the company in terms of legislation, that is, tax bills, fines, or doing business illegally, and money-wise, debts, assets, how much profit the organization is making, etc. But with advanced technology, regulations, and globalization, accountants are more concerned with whether there's a future for all of us in accounting firms. For all the reasons that have been presented by my peers previously, it is quite hard not to consider the future of accountants lightly. Michelle has mentioned briefly the changes in regulations and legislations needed to be followed by the companies, as well as globalization, where interpretation is frequently needed around the application of tax, especially for new laws. These are the works that the computers and the advanced technology will not be able to do effectively, and therefore accountants will still be needed to get the works done. One of the new legislation is making tax digital. This was passed this year as part of the government plan to make it easier for businesses and individuals to get their tax right. It is more efficient and more effective for the company. With globalization, the roles of accountant has become more important, not only in the corporate level but also in the national level, and even more importantly at the international level. With so much pressure from the public and businesses and organizations to get information sooner, increasing competition, advancement of technology, accountants are not only expected to provide information for better decision making, they are also required to participate in making these decisions. Globalization has given accountants more opportunities to grow, also to improve on their accounting skills, and also communicating effectively with internal and external parties at all levels in their organizations. And this is particularly important in a multicultural society that is international level. Molly described how technology is overtaking accountants. We believe that using technology is a great help to accountants, as mentioned earlier. Tasks such as bookkeeping, invoice, and calculating the numbers manually are made easy with the presence of such change. Technology is giving the company exactly what they are after: cost efficient, timely, and accurate. But how is this good for accountants? By coupling your experience and skills with great software tools to provide a better interpretation that is focused on key decisions, the roles of trusted accounting is very much up for grabs, and the future of the accounting profession looks bright. It may seem that the artificial intelligence and technology are taking over, but look at it from the brighter side. They are challenging the accountants to up their expertise level and be more focused on more important tasks that could bring positive change to the company. Jessica explained business advisory services and their importance in accounting. As she mentioned one by one, the services that accountants can take part in. This just proves that with all the changes going on in accounting firms, with increased change in technology, businesses still need accountants to offer advice that could add value to their company and to also bring positive change to the company. In conclusion, business owners are not accountants. They do not know what they don't know, and they need you, the accountants, to come to them with suggestions, help, and advice on areas they can improve on. Therefore, accountants will still be needed by businesses, shareholders, investors, companies, and organizations for the purposes of satisfying the business customers by knowing where they stand financially. Knowing such information will help the managers make decisions for the future of the companies and organizations. All professional accountants will be expected to look beyond the numbers, which will in turn enhance the collaborations among members of multiple professions, including accountants, doctors, lawyers, environmental scientists, sociologists, and so on. Even with the changes that are already there, businesses still needed assistance on how best to use their resources to grow and ensure that their processes and control are robust enough to deal with further changes. The question that I've been asked was what did I get out of this experiment? As an accounting major, this presentation or experiment opened my eyes to a possible future for me. Also what I need to work on academically and in terms of skills and experience that I need to gain before getting into accounting firm and finding a career. As the future of accountants is constantly changing, it is quite important to know this as it does affect our future as accountants. And that concludes our presentation today.